And we are a little bit of ways into our bracket already, into the semifinals, and we've got another good matchup here for you guys. Of course, iPro and Magic, that fantastic back and forth did go the way of iPro. So iPro awaiting the winner here of Loso and Gangstology.
Yeah, so Gangstology was the last fight that we saw of the first round. Loso actually got the benefit of a forfeit in the first round. So I can't help but wonder if for Loso,
in the red
maybe
corner,
coming in a little bit cold versus a fighter that we did see have a banger of a fight in their first round.
Terrence.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different pathways to get here. I will also say, while we have some time here on the ring walk, make sure you guys are not only following the Twitch here, but also make sure you go checking out ethletechampionshipseries.com, join the Discord, get involved with our community, and maybe you guys can win some Amazon gift cards. Along with that, make sure you guys out in chat are giving us your fight of the night. Again, $50 towards the two fighters involved in that one. But Q, getting hyped up for this matchup again. Winner goes to the grand finals. The loser will be going to that third place matchup.
Yeah, we've got ourselves one of our grand finalists for our Inception event over here. But the question is, who's going to be joining iPro in the grand final? Who's going to be facing off with them to try and become the ECS Undisputed champion here? Let's see Loso standing still for a moment. See if they're connecting to the lobby here, getting the scare once more, Llama. And I feel like the anticipation builds more even with that.
Definitely does. We got some movement finally, and I gotta just say, the respect these players have for one another, just for Gangstology. You could go in, you could take 20 free hits on them, but wanting a clean fight here, and that's how we're gonna start.
And not gonna lie, if I loaded in, my opponent wasn't moving, I'd definitely be coming in, throwing some haymakers. I tell you what, some big punches here to open things off.
Loso proving their worth and making sure that everybody knows they earned their spot here. Even though they got here off of a DQ, they had that ability to play in conference play, be one of the top 8 players inside of it, and now able to play off against Gangstology. We were kind of listening to Raging, and he did say, like, you always got to ban Sugar Ray Leonard, so maybe seeing if that doesn't pay off here.
And here we go, coming in and see both players kind of feeling each other out. Kind of that usual first round tendencies. Not really sure where I want to call it. Definitely feel like both players have been able to find some decent shots. It does look like, though, Loso really trying to focus in the early round on the lower body.
A lot of lower body shots, but actually a lot of connecting shots. A little bit less defense here as both players try and find their attack. Of course, as a reminder, here with the format today, we are playing 10 rounds, and then the grand final will be 12 if need be. We know iPro didn't need those 12 rounds in the last one. Some good body shots here from Gangstology to end out the round.
Forward here, last 15 seconds, it feels like for Loso trying to... I think Loso more just worried about kind of the ground and pound on the body versus the scorecard here in round one. But we are seeing some late last couple of shots, trying to send some flurries before the bell rings, but there it is, round number 1 in the books, and Llama, feels like that one goes towards Gangstology, huh?
It definitely feels like it. Had a lot of really good headshots. No cuts, luckily, is going to be the nice thing, it looks like, for both of these two fighters. So none of that early damage, but we talked about the ability of the Rock'em Sock'em here before. It is not going to be that for Sugar Ray Leonard. Has a little bit different set of traits here. The Distance Keeper going to be nice here. For Terrence Crawford, though, has to be a little bit careful about that extended head damage. As we saw Raging mention in our kind of first breakdown, you don't want to, one round can be enough damage, but if that starts to build up round after round, just like we're seeing, a back and forth though from Loso, dazed and downed. All it takes is one from Gangstology.
What a big player. I like the way that we're seeing Sugar doing a good job of closing the gap and getting in the face of Crawford, who does have the advantage in the reach, and it's going to be our first knockdown here. And now you figure with that knockdown being so early in the round, there's a good chance that we might see Gangstology get another one.
That's a possibility. You already feel like the scorecard's swinging their way, and with that knockdown, going to feel really good as well. Just got to make sure for Loso, don't panic when you get hit once. We talked about as well, disguising how hurt you are. You can't just back up and just start to throw your hands on out. That's going to leave your head wide on open with the damage that has already been done there. Got to get those follow-ups, some good body damage. But man, Gangstology, these counters are nuts.
Yeah, doing a really good job. I mean, playing from really just right in that kill zone, realizing that, I mean, you do have suffered just a little bit at the range, but you see closing in the distance. Trying to come in with a big left hook. If that would have hit, that would have been a good opening here, but still have a minute left for Gangstology to try and still continue to run it up. Definitely feels like another round that has gone in their favor. But I feel like right now for Gangstology, this is where you can kind of set the tone for the middle of this match. If it does go the distance, you can kind of set the fact of, hey, I'm here to just ground and pound. I don't care how long it takes.
Just taking their time here, but this one is going to take them into the day state here for Gangstology. Has to work their way out of it, but no sorry. Loso's got a knockdown of their own.
What a big response from Loso to be able to come out and get a knockdown in their own right. This is only going to yield a 5 count before we do see the pick back up here. And of course, that does going to end the round as well. And as much as I thought that things were starting to go in favor in Gangstology, a nice little ending for Loso.
It was those body shots. And I mean, I feel like as much as Gangstology has been working the head, Loso has been working the body, able to get that damage at the end of it. And honestly, I got to say, Q, pretty even at the 3rd round here.
Yeah, I feel like this could be a really big turning point for Loso if they can come out and really swing in round number 3. Of course, after this round, it's going to be our first glance at the scorecard. Feels like I would guess, right, that the scorecard is still technically favoring Gangstology, but this is going to be a point where you can really swing things. For Crawford, though, for Loso, you've got to make sure that you continue to keep that kind of safe distance, and I feel like you got to be leading more with jabs, I'm being honest.
Yeah, I feel like just opening yourself up really does feel a little bit tough with how good Gangstology has been able to manage that stamina bar, be able to pressure with those counters. At the same time, for Loso, you know it's 1-to-1 in that knockdown counter. If you're able to get 1 or 2 more, we even saw in the last fight that 3 knockdowns was enough, and it starts to get really, really tough on that quick time event to keep yourself up and standing. So Loso, one more good set of flurries, and it could possibly be the end of this fight.
See, nice little connection on both sides there, but really trying to play with their aggressive footing here is Gangstology, leading with the 1-2, backing up and then leading back in with the jab, really kind of being relentless, not allowing Loso to get comfortable. Loso's got to find a way to really slow down this attack from Gangstology.
Gotta try and find a way to play the defense in Gangstology. Oh, so many pops there and so many flashes on the screen towards the head. Loso needs to try and recover. You see him playing a little bit more defensive, backing up a little bit to try and regain that little bit of head health as well for Gangstology. Not too low on the stamina bar, just using that really well, getting the recovery and getting back into this fight. Only 20 seconds left to go, and it feels like Loso may be at danger of getting another knockdown.
Yeah, luckily for Loso right now, I mean, you got not much time. Big connection from Gangstology on the 1-2. Nice 1-2 again to the face. Now going to work the body at the end of the round. You got him, able to put him down onto the mat in the closing seconds. And of course, you can't be saved by the bell. We'll at least see the count come out.
The count is going to go through up to 5 and up to the knees and up to the feet. Staying alive there for the second one, but like we talked about after getting knocked down here, and not only that, Q, this is really, really early in this fight, an opportunity for Gangstology to maybe close it out quick.
Cool. A shot to the body and then opens things up to be able to follow it up with the shot afterwards as well to the face, the one, and then another couple there. And man, just really being relentless with the combos. And there it is. You see the fall at 2 seconds left. That's a big knockdown.
I mean, the clock was at 0-0, Q. Like you mentioned, not going to be able to be saved by that bell. And we get to take a look at this one. Gangstology up by 2 here. Relatively close first and second rounds. And a knockdown in each of those rounds, but on opposite sides of those corner. Here for the red corner and Loso probably need to get another one of their own. And look, with that punch, actually a left cut brewing on Gangstology's head.
Hey, you got to be careful here now. Of course, this is still round 4. There's still plenty of time. You got to make sure that you can keep the gloves up. And That is something that Loso might be able to use to their advantage. But you can see Loso continuing to back up, trying to see if they can keep more of that length on him, being able to use the advantage of the reach. But I mean, Gangstology done such a great job time and time again of really kind of stepping in with them side steps to open up their combos.
Trying to go with the directional a little bit more, trying to keep that range advantage. And again, it's not only that connection, but goes head body, proves their point with their fists here. And with about half of this round left to go, we're approaching about halfway through this fight, but it really seems like it's just been an absolute slugfest between these two. The back and forth, multiple knockdowns, and now Loso going on the offense.
Yeah, you can see Loso going to try and turn up the heat. And you got to find your moments and really kind of pick them and stick them here. And it is going to be getting a little bit of resistance here from Gangstology. Again, the nice sidestep, getting those body shots, which maybe might not be looking so flashy, but definitely getting felt over on the side of Loso.
Always getting felt. You talk about that cumulative damage time and time again here for Gangstology. He's going to try and work their way forward. 30 seconds to go, and Loso, if time serves them and if the consistency of those recent rounds do fall, maybe they can get a knockout of their own to follow up here in this fourth round. None so far. A little bit of good head damage, and there you go, down to a third bar. Will they be saved? For Gangstology, just trying to back up into the corner, and Crawford putting on the pressure here. Loso trying to use all their time left. The zeros will fall and save Gangstology from that one.
I can only imagine that Loso must have been sitting a little low on their stamina as well, because you saw that Gangstology was definitely trying to create some separation thanks to a barrage of shots that we're seeing on the replay there. But that should be around. That does favor Loso, closing that gap just a little bit, as we did see Gangstology was up 2 with the turn on the third round.
Now towards this next one, we also talked about that left cut brewing on the face here of Gangstology. Has to be a little bit careful about that in the following fight. And that's possibly a round that Loso did take a couple of early shots, but might have won out in the scorecard. You have to imagine this one is still relatively close. Even though both players have had a knockdown, you don't need to play crazy at Q. You don't need to play for that KO unless you have that advantage to do so. And if you get knocked down here as Loso, could be in a little bit of trouble. The body damage, you can tell, but gets that defense up.
Able to get the hook on the left, continuing to hit the shots here, continuing the left, the right, trying to see if they can get a connection that will send them to the mat, and there it is. It's going to be Loso once more on the ground.
Loso almost picked themselves up. You could tell the dazed bar was almost getting back to get them towards that regular form. Up to 7, up to 8, up to a knee, and up to standing. Surviving 3 knockdowns. Very, very impressive here from Loso. But now you got to imagine you're running out of time. You face one more knockdown, and it is probably the end of you.
They're trying to do their best impersonation of Chumbawamba, getting knocked down and getting up again. But right now, you got to find some way to start putting Gangstology on the ground. We're at just about that midway point. And Gangstology really starting to assert themselves. As much as it looked like round 4 was yours, round 5 has most definitely been theirs.
60 seconds left to try and make that round yours. See if you can pressure out towards the corner and see if that range advantage still from Gangstology can be utilized to help pressure out on Loso. And I think Gangstology just not allowing that opening to come through. He knows the game plan of Loso has to be to pressure on forward. He knows he's knocked him out 3 times, and just playing off that counter, stuck a little bit here in the corner. Nice directionals now from Loso as he tries to pressure towards the body. 20 seconds left to go, and maybe that bell able to save these two once again.
Able to open up with one little punch and then be able to create just a little bit of space, try to lead forward with the left jab, another left jab just to keep him at bay. Again, you mentioned Loso trying to close that gap, able to move towards the corner, but there it is. There's the bell. We are officially at the halfway point of our second semifinal matchup, and here's the barrage of shots that came in from Gangstology that eventually ended up leading to that knockdown.
And for Loso, I really like that defensive start. You saw they're almost able to get out of that dazed state. Unfortunately, not able to. Does get knocked down, but like you mentioned, Q, it's all about how you get back up. That third knockdown, that third get up here for Loso, and now into round number 6, where we'll actually get to see the card score after this round.
If we're able to make it through the round, we've seen Gangstology put Loso on their back a few times here recently, and if they do it once more, I wouldn't be surprised if that would be curtains. Did you see, though, that's not causing any sort of hesitation in Loso's attack, trying to walk down Gangstology into the corner. Has done a pretty good job being able to move him there, but hasn't really done a good job of making much connection. You see a little bit towards the body, now trying to do some more body work here, but at least for now, Gangstology able to get back to safety.
Trying to activate those punches and bunches. Once again, looming large as that round 8 flipping marker if you're able to get there. However, for Gangstology, it's if you get there. Again, so what? You've had 3 knockdowns. You are almost in danger of getting knocked down yourself. Loso really utilizing the stamina bar. Well, Gangstology going to have that full stamina back up for themselves. About down to 2/3 from the stamina they have used throughout the entirety of this match between the two. And 60 seconds left to go. Loso may be missing an opportunity there with the body damage.
I like the nice little side step, able to come in with the left to the body there. It's not one, again, that doesn't look flashy, but Loso definitely going to be feeling it, especially here in round number 6, final 30 seconds. And it feels like Loso trying to up the pace just a little bit, moving forward, a right to the body. Not going to be able to get much of another connection. You can see the guard being up here from Gangstology, realizing that for now, they're just playing for time.
Just trying to survive these last 10 seconds. That's what it's all about. You see the body damage, though. One more shot from Loso is all it takes. But Gangstology just playing this so well and playing it towards the nice little ding-ding. 6 is going to be done, but man, Q, that was scary towards the end.
Yeah, definitely looked like things still definitely sway in the balance here, but they're jumping right on back out here. And it is Gangstology still in the lead. I gotta say, I thought maybe would have had a little bit more of lead, maybe more closer to 3 or 4 points, but only a 2-point lead heading down the home stretch with 4 rounds left. Loso still plenty in this fight.
It's not the biggest amount of lead. Again, the punches and bunches, a little bit of disadvantage does loom large after round number 8, where Raging was said you can definitely feel that. You can feel that stamina loss, and it's a little bit hard to play those fights. However, for Loso, we've seen the body damage. We've seen the buildup. This is the round, I feel like, you, that Loso needs to press the advance.
Ooh, nice little right hand connection from Gangstology, though. That was a big hit. You can still see backing down the side steps, trying to find the open opportunity. And then even sometimes leading in with just that left jab, saying, hey, Loso, if you want to walk on into this, feel free. Even following up with the right hand as well. Halfway through round number 7, it does look like Gangstology continuing to add to their lead.
Trying to add towards that scorecard here, trying to play off the defensive Loso right now, and trying to put the pressure down towards that body is Loso. Not much time left in this one, and you talk about that ability with a sting like the B trade to just get those counter punches, a little bit of that lean back, trying to just work their way back with that little bit of right, trying connecting. At the same time, Gangstology, really good dodge, good directionals, and not using too much stamina to get out of dodge.
Last 45 seconds here, it feels like for Loso, maybe trying up the pace just a little bit. You can tell, definitely feeling it in the body, but should try and still accumulate a couple more points in the closing seconds. But we're seeing some nice shots getting landed here from Gangstology. Not enough to be able to get stunned, and you'll see a little bit of space created by Loso. That should give Gangstology the green light to push forward. 10 seconds left, though, and should just be able to go 1, 2, able to continue to throw. There's the stun. Can you get the knockdown before the end of the round? I don't think so.
Wow. Absolutely saved here. Loso goes into the daze state, but the blocks we talked about before just delaying for enough time, protecting the head, and Gangstology trying to go for that quick knockdown. That left cut still persisting on Gangstology's head, but now we hit that round number 8. Loso gonna lose some of his power and really needs to find a knockdown, I feel like, off the body. Has been putting some good pressure towards it, some good damage, but Q, I mean, you're running out of rounds here.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times where Loso has been able to get that body bar pretty well down to the red and blinking status, but has not been able to get a knockdown off of that. And you mentioned with it getting into the later rounds, this is kind of where Gangstology should be able to continue to kind of extend the lead that they do currently have, unless you're able to come out here in round 8 and really turn up the heat.
See if the heat can be cooking on up for Gangstology. Took a couple early shots towards the head. Sugar going to be a little bit weak there. We'll see if Loso, the counter punches, though, Gangstology again playing their defense really well when they're in a troubled state, able to get that back up, able to get a couple more shots towards the head, and does recover from that head damage. However, Loso, you can see, trying to push him forward, trying to use, again, a little bit of that advantage on range to push him into the corner and follow up with the punches and bunches.
I do feel like one thing we're also seeing from Gangstology is realizing what the game plan has to be for Loso. We're seeing doing a lot better job of kind of playing on the guard more instead of leading forward to try and create opportunities. Has definitely allowed Loso to kind of more lead the attack and close the gap with those punches, and then being able to try and ignite the punches and bunches from there.
Trying to follow up with the counters and trying to follow up, like you said, with those little bit of counters for the head damage. It's going to fall a little bit for Gangstology. Again, this is a really, really big fight. You talk about the second semifinals. You win this one, you go on to face iPro and Loso looking like they want to be the one to do it. Body damage flowing left and right, everything connecting there. There's lots of head damage as well. I mean, where does Gangstology even protect?
Yeah, right now, I mean, Gangstology in trouble. I'm sure Loso realizes that they've got a little bit of momentum, but doesn't realize just how close that they did have Gangstology to falling there. We're also seeing some big shots getting landed by Gangstology in their own right. 10 seconds left. It feels like this is where Loso really has to be able to turn up the heat. You can see trying to lean into him in the ropes. 3 seconds, though. Not going to be able to get this daze. Not going to be able to get any big hits here at the end. That's the end of round number 8.
Man, back-to-back rounds, Q, where we've seen right at the end, both players very injured. At that last one, it was actually Loso being the one that was dazed on up. But once again, because you can't see the damage on your opponent, not able to push that other issue forward, and we assume didn't have the stamina to follow it up. But Loso, even at this a little bit of disadvantage, is being able to push the fight back. And Q, we've only got 2 rounds left.
2 more rounds to decide who it is that's going to be facing off against iPro in our grand finals here. And it feels like if you are Loso, you got to start feeling just a little bit of desperation. You got to start playing with a little bit of sense of urgency, and you got to start taking some risks here.
The risks have to be there. At the same time, if you imagine that you possibly won that last round, we'll get to see a look at the scorecard and how close and how dangerous Loso needs to play in possibly that final round. I'd love to see him go towards the body a little bit more, work that range, and see if you can take another knockdown here against Gangstology for Loso. I mean, it's risk reward at this point. There's a spot in the grand finals. What are you going to do for it?
First minute gone here in round number 9, and really haven't seen much from either side. And kind of understand from Gangstology trying to wear out the opposition. A nice 1-2 that we saw, got a couple of flashes, but other than that, oh, there's another nice left cross as well, or sorry, left hook as well, that was able to make a connection. And right now, I mean, Gangstology really able to make those solid punch connections.
Gangstology going for a lot of those hooks towards the face, and a lot of them have been connecting for Loso. You can tell damage, backing up, not trying to play their pressure on forward, and with not much time, not only left here in this round, but left between this boxing match between the two, and it's going to be a connection. Again, the front left hook here, and Loso will fall. This could be it.
Let's see if they're going to be able to get up here. I mean, it was knockdown to the body. We already see halfway through the count. Does look like they should be able to recover this time. But remember, with each consecutive knockdown, it continues to get harder to stand. And we're in round 9. Maybe you make it through this, but you're going to have to be relentless in 10, realizing that you are probably 1 knockdown away from being KO'd as well.
I just don't know how Loso's got the reaction time to keep themselves up. Either way, Loso's going back, and Gangstology is the one down.
Now Gangstology down here at the end should be able to recover, I would imagine, as we do see pretty well able to get up in the count at 5. But that might be a little bit of extra pep in the step over on the side of Gangstology heading into the 10th and final round. Able to take a little bit of that wind out of the sails from Gangstology as well.
I mean, so much back and forth here in this round number 9. We're going to see this one here at the end just connects with that left, and then the defense, the counter punches here from Crawford, and all that extra body damage throughout the match is starting to rack on up. I mean, Q, you are talking about a round number 10 that realistically could be the decider for both sides.
I mean, it feels like Loso's still going to have a heck of a round 10 here, right? Like, I feel like Loso is still going to have to be the one that comes out and moves with the sense of urgency. Gangstology definitely can't sit back and just play for the card in the sense
It's
of
true.
just playing free and loose.
Okay.
But because it's a three round, never mind, a three-point round, they're pretty solid over on that side of Gangstology. Loso needs to step it up and step it up huge.
Yeah, I mean, 3 points, a large little discrepancy here for Loso. You're going to have to push the issue, but we know you've been playing some good fights here. You've been playing some good rounds so far. Already some early head damage, and Gangstology possibly in some trouble. That stamina bar looking a little bit low. They'll have to back up, get that regen done up, and get that head damage. Try and heal that up if possible as well. Loso pressing the issue here, but already burned 1 minute down.
We'll have to readdress that large discrepancy thing here after the fight because there's only 2 minutes left here. And you can see right now it is Loso doing a good job of pressing forward. The one body shot might have been an open opportunity to try and get Gangstology down, but did have to back down for themselves here as well. Remember, that reach potentially could be used here, but trying to sidestep, trying to find the connection with the left. Not going to be able to do it. Leading with the straight, also with the right to the body, but nothing connecting for Loso.
And every single counter that hits here for Loso, you're going to be dazed, you're going to be down, and can you survive another?
Yeah, I mean, even if he gets up here, there's just no chance that he comes back on this card, right? That knockdown should do it if it's not a KO. And it looks like it. No, he beats the count?
No way. Okay. This Loso guy, crazy. He's been knocked down. He's been getting back up. The fight probably isn't going your way, but what an absolute barn burner here. Able to stay on your feet. Of course, only 30 seconds left to go. Got to throw everything forward, and that means Gangstology can just play for the counters.
You can see a Gangstology here. I think is going to try and get one last knockdown, just trying to find the good opportunities here. We got the flashes coming in, but it's Loso with a big knockdown.
Hold on just a second. We'll get to see the quick time event once again and should be able to get back up. The skill is there from Gangstology, but man, oh man, so many knockdowns trading back and forth between these two players. It is going to be the decider though, and it is going to be our winner decided and going to face iPro.
Yeah, Sugar here is going to be the one moving on. And what a performance here for Gangstology. I mean, just really from the word go. I do got to say, though, Loso put up a heck of a fight all the way to the end. We had mentioned how the last fight was our running favorite for fight of the night. That one right there just might have to replace it for now.
Yeah, I think it does for me too. I mean, so many knockdowns, such a great fight. And I really don't think that even though this fight card kind of close at the end. I mean, separated by 6, so 2 of the judges separating it by 4 there. But I just got to say that it was so close, so many great fights. And honestly, that knockdown there at the end, you give him a couple more rounds, Q, and man, it could go either way.
Let's go ahead and bring in Raging. Let me know what you saw there in that last fight we just had in our semifinals.
Yo, what a fight, guys. That's definitely fight of the night so far, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I ain't got no say in that, but hey, that's my opinion, man. When you got 2 guys knocking each other down in the same round over and over again, I think it happened twice. That's incredible. One early in the fight, one late in the fight. You got 2 game opponents going at it, and that, you know, you don't get much better boxing than that. You know what I mean?
1,000%. I do got to ask you though, what was do you feel like there was a moment that was kind of like a clicking moment that it really allowed them to push over, or was it just kind of a slow, like a good roast sort of approach?
Man, so I think at first it was kind of slow. I know that we got the knockdowns in round 2, but it seemed like they were kind of feeling each other out. As the fight continued, it seemed, you know, once Gangsta had a lead on the knockdowns, it seemed to me like Gangsta was starting to fight more off the back foot. And as the rounds started progressing, I felt Loso getting more and more aggressive. He was starting to chase him down. He was starting to use more directional hooks, both to the body and the head. Again, I think if Loso could have seen how hurt he had Gangsta, he might have capitalized more on those body uppercuts and body hooks he was throwing throughout. You got to give it to Loso, man. The guy brought it, man. He brought all those combos, all those counters, landing big body shots. You know what I mean? Like, that was a close fight, guys. The scorecards might not have said it was that close, but it was It was closer than
I
the
thought it was
scorecards
super
would say.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even think the scorecard was relatively close as well. But man, what a back and forth fight. And I just gotta say, you know, as a player for you raging, we've seen it multiple times. You talked about it multiple times. If you could just see the damage on your opponent, you feel like you would have that extra foot to go forward. I mean, is it just like experience games played that it takes that kind of mental right in the back of your mind, like, oh, I hit him 5 times, he's probably hurt? Or do you have to, is it all about situation where like, okay, I don't have any stamina, I know he's hurt, I can't actually go in?
Those are some great points, man. I definitely think both those things you said are actually 100% true. You know, sometimes you don't have the stamina. You know, you know you got him hurt. You landed 2 or 3 counters in one combo. But if you just burned all your stamina hitting those, there's not really much you can do, because you go in there with no stamina, start swinging all slow, you go and get knocked out. You know what I mean? So there's all kinds of sides to the coin, but definitely with gameplay experience, which both these fighters have, you know, you can start seeing things like, you know, they start getting more defensive, or they start backing away more. You know, this guy's kind of hurt. Or a guy who only blocks his head starts only blocking his body. You know you hurt his body. You know what I'm saying? In fact, there was a point in the fight. Let me just check my notes here. Yeah, there was a point in the fight, I think around round 7 or 8. Loso was having to chase Gangster for the rest of the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gangster was starting to fight purely on the back foot and utilizing that step back cross over and over again. And it was starting to get, I'm sure it was starting to get frustrating for Loso, trying to figure out the timing on how to move forward, you know, when he's using that cross to get out of the way. You know what I mean? It starts getting difficult, man. But Loso, I gotta give it to him, man. He did a great job, man. Like, we saw that last round was crazy, yo. Oh yeah.